What up, what up? Zach Bradshaw, long-winded guy here, back with another trading journal. Just need to record this awful execution on these trades that I had over the last week or so with this crazy price action. So let me just explain all the dumb things that I did. So I was looking to play a breakout. I think this thing is probably going from this 8,000 area up to like 10,000 or 9,600 or maybe 92, something like that. And at some point, I thought it was going to do it faster than getting any consolidation here. So I think I bought this. I was expecting it to continue up and break out. I think I bought this once it went above this other side over here. And then after that, it played around for a little bit. I held on to this position. And then I bought another one down around like 79 or something like that. Or maybe it was closer to the bottom of this, but 78 or something like that. I guess I could look at the actual price that I bought these at. So yeah, I had a buy on this not breakout, and then bought again. What is that? 78.01. And then I sold half of that position essentially when it went up within here, just so that I was basically bringing the total. I wanted to pull some of my capital back, but I wanted to essentially bring that at like this one lower. And so I bought a small position and then cashed out part of it. And so that kind of makes the average on the whole position between the two of them. And then locked in because I sold out half of the second position I picked up, and they were basically equal. And then after that, it goes up, and I'm really expecting to break out here, so I bought again with that last quarter of a position that I had, and obviously it didn't go, right? And then I woke up the other day to this, was like really annoyed and like not to say distraught because not, like this is like 300 bucks, but um, whatever the case may be, it was causing me too much pain. So I ended up just like I should have set a stop loss. I didn't set a stop loss because probably laziness, but also because of all these crazy fake outs where I didn't want something just to clean up my stop loss and then hit the home run. But then I clearly should have set a stop loss because I would have got all my money back in this point, with a pretty annoying loss, right? Like a 5 or 6% loss, or maybe a little bit more depending on where I put my stop. And then it broke down here, and I'll wake up to this, watch a couple of update videos. People are talking about a fat finger, blah 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 blah. And so I'm trying to figure out, should I hold this position? Should I set a stop loss in case it goes below 68? Blah blah blah. I think I did actually set a stop loss for it to go below 68, but was getting so stressed out that I chose to eventually just cash out that position so that I didn't have to deal with the stress of the situation. And then what happens? Like, of course, my intuition tells me, hey, go look at the charts, and this is what's happening a few hours later. Maybe it's a whole day later. But as it does, I'm FOMOing or whatever. I'm like, fuck, why did I cash that out? But I'm in a better place than I was because I don't have any skin in the game, and I'm able just to like reset my emotions for a couple days. I've been watching Crown's Crypto Cave lately, and somebody left a comment that was basically like, I shorted something. I think he said he shorted like 7,000 before this. He shorted something in here and lost his whole savings, $45,000. And what Crown told him was he needs to take a break. He needs to reflect on the mistakes that he made, and needs to get back into it. So that was part of the reason that I cashed out here, because I would like literally had work to do. That's worth a lot more money than this $300 in this account is to me. And I was just stressing out about it. I literally sat here for like 30 minutes moving my stop, like couldn't figure out where to put a stop. once I'm in this position here. I think it's still in here. And so I was just like, dude, I'm not dealing with the stress. And so I got out of that position, and now it's gone up, right? And so obviously I just like basically took a let's see how big this loss ended up being. So my average position was probably something around like 82 or something like that. I probably cashed out around here. So I took like a 12% loss, right, after taking great gains from the 42, well, ultimately the 3200 area, the 4200 area. Then I think my last buy was at like 56 or 53. I may have cashed that one out technically or something. I'm not sure. But whatever the case may be, this bouncing back up and the action that I see right now is telling me, or at least has me leaning that this is going to continue going back up. Probably, 96, 10,200. Could go farther, no telling. But I wanted to get back in a position, partially because it is only $300 to me or whatever. I sell like $3,000 a month SEO contracts, but I wanted to be exposed to the upside and also work on the psychology of, okay, let's actually set a stop this time. Let's watch these charts to a certain extent. I ended up buying yesterday around here. So I think it was on this red candle, close to the bottom of this red candle. Almost bought again once it came down here, but the percentage was like not enough, like maybe 1.5% or something like that. Yeah. So it like wasn't enough for me to feel like I needed to move my position down more, if that makes sense. And I'd rather just keep like cash on the side. So I probably should have cashed out a small amount of my position here just because I'd gained, I think it was like 5%. Yeah, 5%. If I would have, like, I was watching this pretty much all, I usually, as I'm working, it depends on what I'm doing, but if I'm working and I have something that I don't have to be completely focused, like writing or different tasks that I really need to hit, like deep work and the good brainwave states for achieving creativity and the best work. Then I generally keep this tab right here. I generally keep like some type of motivational videos right here, and then I work across potentially 10 or 12 or 1,000 tabs on the rest of the thing. But I'm always able to look up here and see the price. And that's maybe not the best, again, depending on what I'm doing. But I saw this. I kind of should have cashed out. And now I am, waiting for this to break this range. And depending on what it does, I may buy a little bit more or I may buy a little bit less. So one of the things that I did this time that's different than last time is that my position is smaller than even like the half buy. So I'm probably, of my capital that I'm willing to put back into this, I still haven't moved my my extra Bitcoin that was essentially pure profit out to my cold storage wallet yet, just because I may get another little piece of that, and I'd rather just pay fees one time on the network than pay fees twice to move my Bitcoin. But I'm not even sure if that's cost effective. It could just be the size that determines what the fee is. But whatever the case may be, if it comes back down here and it seems like it's, probably use Dan the Man's from the chart guys, his 5-minute oversold bounce. If I see something like the 5-minute RSI going into the low, down here into the oversold area, then I may buy again. But obviously I have a fairly tight stop loss here that basically just means that I would lose 2% because I think it was about 17.15 or 17.12 that I bought in at. So I'm losing less than 2.5% if I cash out on that, plus the fees. So I guess it's close to 3% or something like that. But what I'm able to do is now catch the upside if this thing does break, and because I have more capital free, it also gives me the ability, if I see something like something like this, where I may be able to buy in or lace in orders here. Oh, one thing that I should mention, here where this went down, and I think this is part of what stressed me out and had my psychology all messed up, so that I came back and wanted to get out of this position and reset, was that I had limit sell orders at 92 and 96 or something. Maybe it was 8,896, just in case I was asleep and everything mooned, which has happened a couple of times. And this was kind of like I woke up to this, you know what I mean? And it actually happened the other way, and I was annoyed that I chose to set limits instead of stop losses. And it's something that because this position is small, it's really easy for me to care more about the gains than to worry about preserving the capital, because it's like almost easier for me to just put another $300 in here, another $500 in here, or whatever, than to stress out about not getting moves, right? Because like the point of being in this asset is the potential for it to double, or the potential for it to go up 5 times or 10 times, or to replace the whole world currency system, erase our debt, and allow us to do some other things as humanity. But that's not why I'm in these positions, right? I'm in these positions to make, see if I can capitalize on a 20% move, and then cash back out. So I think what I'm going to start doing first, I need to watch Crown's series on the psychology of trading. I think that's important. I'm going to pick up a couple of books, like Trading in the Zone, and a couple of other books that are highly recommended by traders, and I'm going to an extent, do a little bit of day trading. So like if this move would have happened again, I will take profit on some of this position, and just kind of fluidly manage my positions on days where I can do it. Like today, the work that I'm doing is SEO citations. It's pretty easy for me to do citations and to be able to watch a price. If I was doing something else, then maybe I would make sure I was in all cash, or I'd make sure that my stop loss was like everything. But something that I could do here as well, where I just move up the stop loss, and now I can't help but take a gain. But I don't want to do that because I think it may play around in this range for a little bit longer, and I may buy down around 75, or maybe even I might move this stop just a little bit lower, maybe set it just below this point right here, 70, maybe put it at 74.50, so that if it comes around the 75s again, I may buy, and it may lead to another loss if it goes beyond 75 and drops down to 72 or 68 or something like that. But I will have a tight stop on that and get the heck out. So this is a video kind of like I'm shifting from worrying about the gains to trying to get better at managing risk and not taking losses. Obviously, this was some I don't know if it's manipulation is the best word to describe it, but this is kind of like an anomalous event that is not actually indicative of the real market sentiment. I mean, this wick is indicative of the market sentiment, because saying like, well, it dropped and everybody bought it up. But I was essentially, because crypto is just brutal, like I was just stopped out. I mean, it wasn't a real stop. I should have been stopped out. If I had been stopped out around this area, then I would have just been buying here instead of selling into my losses. Like one of the things that they say is that it doesn't matter how much you've made on paper. It only matters when you cash out your position, right? So for me, this wouldn't have been a realized loss until I cashed it out, right? So I was sitting here thinking like, oh, should I set my stop at 68? Should I set it at 66? Should I blah, 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 blah? And yeah, that's probably what I should have done. But I also needed, for me, the peace of mind to just like, all right, let me reset, start back over. I'll take this loss, knowing that this very well may happen. And I didn't, I've digested more of the news since this as well, so I understand that, somebody just made a huge sell, and it could have been an accident, it could have been they were trying to force the price down on purpose. But whatever the case may be, this is probably really the price action, and if this hadn't happened, this leg up may have already, taken us to that 88 to that 96, which is, where I was targeting anyway. So it's annoying to have lost that money, but it's great to realize like, okay, crypto is brutal. This wouldn't necessarily happen in the same way in stocks or something else, but I was kind of thinking the right way, and this thing probably is going to go up, and I'm just focused now on being in this position and managing this position as it is, seeing if I can get another little piece of BTC to throw into my cold storage, see if I can make some percentage gains on this little, I don't know, I think it's up to like 320 now. A couple of months ago it was like 250, or I guess a month and a half ago it was like 250. That's because I was able to catch the wave and ride it up to this area. Seeing if it's going to go up another bit, and hoping to ride that, but more importantly, hoping not to lose turn my $300 into 150 bucks, because taking realized losses like this is a great way to do that. And so I'm trying to get on the other side of the train. Again, I'm going to go through Crown Psychological Trading Series, and I'm probably going to dive into like all his videos, and eventually definitely going to pay for probably all 3 of his $2,000 courses, because he's a beast and he uses a lot of indicators, and there's a lot to be learned from his style of trading. And so I want to see what I can capitalize on with that. So that's enough rambling on this one. You know, I'm a long-winded guy. So I think that's enough for, what is this, my Trading Journal 4, Trading Journal 5, something like that. Still ain't got no outro because this is just a trading journal. If you're watching this, don't follow my trades. But until next time, peace.